l'anglais, je connais rien du tout.
Non, ça va. Où est-ce que vous avez acheté cette...
C'est ça?
Oui.
Ah ben, je n'ai pas acheté.
Oh,
c'est un héritage. C'était à ma belle-mère.
He inherited this land from his mother, and the reason it's preserved is because he has not sold it, because he has, you know, wanted to preserve the legacy of the what happened here on 314.
Alors, en 44, il n'y avait pas un arbre.
In 1944, there was not a tree on this hill.
Pas un arbre.
This was completely
C'était
without
comme ça.
any
C'était
trees.
comme ça.
It was like that, just rock outcropping.
Alors, ils ont eu très chaud.
It was very hot.
Le soleil
The sun was beating down on them all the
faisait
time.
excessivement chaud.
Very hot during when they were up here in
Pas à
44.
boire, pas à
They
manger.
had nothing to eat, nothing to drink.
Les parachutages, ça s'en allait dans les lignes allemandes plutôt que tomber ici.
The parachutes that were, you know, supposed that were going to be bringing
Alors,
in
beaucoup
food
sont morts.
and the medicine, they were falling in the German lines instead of here. So these guys were really isolated up here.
Beaucoup ont été blessés
Many were wounded.
et ont attrapé la gangrène.
Qu'est-ce que c'est gangrène?
Oh, c'est une maladie, vous savez, quand vous avez des plaies et qui ne sont pas
he
soignées.
Gangrene. Yeah, he said many of the soldiers got gangrene. Yeah, because they had no way to clean the wounds and it was terrible.
Ils étaient 900 quand ils sont arrivés. Ils sont repartis à 300. Il y en a eu 300 de tués et 300 de blessés.
300 killed and 300 wounded. So half of the, plus ou moins 700 soldats, n'est-ce pas?
Oui.
Oui, so 700 went up and only about 350 came down.
Do you know where Lieutenant Weiss was? I thought he was over on
Est-ce que
this
vous
side.
connaissez où était le lieutenant Weiss?
Dis quoi?
Weiss. Vous connaissez le lieutenant Weiss? C'est le nom d'un soldat.
Ah,
Weiss.
non, c'est Bart. Vess.
This, yes.
W-I-S. Oui, alors, à la petite chapelle.
He was over by the Petit Chapel.
Le Petit Chapel, yeah.
Okay, we were already over there.
Il renseignait l'artillerie qui était à l'ouest, à Barenton.
Yeah, he
dans la
was
commune.
over with the artillery over
Et
there on
Bart,
that side.
le lieutenant Bart était là, lui,
This is the other lieutenant? The
par
other...
ici, et il renseignait l'artillerie qui était en face. Il leur envoyait des obus avec des médicaments dedans.
Oh, he sent out the obus. Does that mean les parachutes avec
non,
le médecin?
une-
Oh no, the
Artillery.
The artillery. They loaded
Yes.
up the medicine
Ouais.
and they shot it over here.
Okay.
Avec un fumigène, alors l'obus tombait, puis vous voyez la fumée, et
Right.
il ramassait, mais tout ce qui était en liquide,
Right.
c'était cassé.
Right. Anything that was liquid was broken. But that's how they got some of the medicine in here was through you know, shooting it through what would they not bullets but whatever.
But artillery shells.
Artillery shells.
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah.
Alors pas à manger, pas à boire.
He said no, nothing to drink, nothing to eat, and that's what Mr. Denius told us too. They had nothing. They had a little bit of what did they have? The D rations. They were hardtack, and they take their bayonet and they start scraping it, and they would eat the scrapings. That's all they had, and then they would mix some of the scrapings with water to make like hot chocolate milk or something. That was all the food they had up here.
I understood there was some water source, a creek, but it was under fire.
Est-ce
and
qu'il
they
y
had
avait
to
de
brave.
l'eau? Il y avait
Mais
pas.
non, mais non.
Non, mais un petit, comment dit-on?
Un puits.
Un puits, oui.
À une petite ferme là-bas, mais au bout de 4 jours, quand ils se sont repliés tous par ici, parce que les Allemands, à la petite chapelle, les attaquaient de tous les côtés,
Oui.
à l'arme blanche, la nuit même, à la baïonnette. Hein. Alors ils sont arrivés ici, et alors il y a des fermes un peu plus loin, il y a des maisons là,
Oui.
et là il y avait un puits.
Well, you said there was a farm
Mais alors,
nearby and there was a well, but it was always being attacked by the Germans, so it was
Right.
hard to get the water.
And go ahead.
How long was that here?
7 days.
7 days.
Alors il y a le...
Ici 7 jours.
14,
Oui, 7 jours.
7 jours, ils étaient ici.
On a été libérés le 14,
They were
le 13 au soir.
They were liberated.
D'abord les Allemands sont partis
d'août?
les Allemands sont partis d'eux-mêmes.
D'août ou de juin?
Oui.
Juillet?
Non, non, au mois d'août.
Au mois d'août, yeah. They were liberated on the 13th of August.
Les Allemands sont partis d'eux-mêmes parce qu'ils allaient être enfermés dans la poche de falaise.
Right, the Germans left and then that's and that's how they were able to come down.
Et c'est bien dommage qu'ils n'aient pas été enfermés dans la poche de falaise. Parce qu'il n'y aurait plus de la graine.
When is the last time you found any like artillery or anything in the ground or even American or German bodies?
Qu'est-ce que la dernière fois que vous avez rencontré quelques pièces d'artillerie, des
Munitions, shells.
Ici dans la terre.
Ah, bah des médicaments.
Non, pas des médicaments, I don't know how to say that in French.
Bullet shells?
The bullets, de pistoles.
Des munitions,
munitions.
Debris.
Il en reste, hein. Il y a même un fils, le fils d'un vétéran qui est venu il y a 2 ou 3 ans, il a dit que son père lui avait dit qu'ils avaient caché les armes de tous ceux qui étaient blessés ou tués. Mais on ne sait pas où.
A son of
On n'arrive pas à les
one of
trouver.
the veterans came and said that his father told him that somewhere here they hid a whole lot of bullets, you know, and ammunition, and they've never found it. So somewhere here there's ammunition.
We could be the first.
Yeah. All right. Well. Anyway, so enjoy and
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous.
De rien, de
monsieur.
rien.
Non,
Il faut aller par là un peu. Ils ont peut-être fini, non?
Oui, ça va. Alors, you can just, go in there. What he's put here is really nice. In 3 different languages, he has like little historical things you can read about some of the different things. Like there was over there, right there is, qu'est-ce que c'est ça là-bas, monsieur de Confray?
C'était une auge pour récupérer l'eau de pluie.
Oh, that was to get the water from the rain, that concrete.
C'était la gouttière de la tour qui...
That was where the water, they tried to store water there. But if you look around, you'll see, and he's put up little signs to give you a sort of a self-directed tour. You can see little vestiges of things in the ground.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're really very lucky that he decided not to develop this.
How old was he when this occurred?
Vous savez combien d'ans en 14?
Ouais.
En 44, oui.
17 ans et demi.
He was 17.
J'en ai 83.
Oh, and he's now 84.
So we'll congregate on the bus.
On the Patton,
Oh, wow.
and we come through here. I think our first firing order was in July the 27th.
Uh-huh.
And that's when we started kicking out of the hedgerows,
Yes.
and then went on down to the Brest. We surrounded the Brest Peninsula, where we can find all the troops that were in there,
Right.
so they couldn't break out.
That's
And,
fantastic.
so I'm sure not far from here. I
Yeah.
of course don't remember anything
Yeah.
about where we were.
Right, you weren't,
I was
but
in
you
an
didn't have a
artillery.
map to guide you there.
It was armored artillery. and
Armor-
we
so
had
you were
tanks with howitzers on them. So I'm sure that they're calling fire in these areas, but we weren't driving through them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for what you've done.
Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah.
He's also another veteran.
Gentlemen here.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad to see you.
Thank you. Where are you from?
From Austin, Texas.
I'm from
Good job.
Springfield, Illinois.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
All right, everybody, if you just want to look at here, and then we're gonna. Where did you serve again?
From Normandy to Paderborn, Germany. I was wounded in Paderborn, Germany, and that was the end of my.
What unit were you?
I was with the 83rd Armored Field Artillery. Well, we were under Patton in the 6th Armored,
Yeah.
and also under him and the. I think he had the 2nd Armored, didn't he, Patton?
At one time.
Yeah.
He had the fourth armor.
Okay, the 4th, 6th, because
Yeah.
then, we were a separate battalion, tank
Yeah,
battalion.
yeah.
We were in about 3 different armies, but we were only with Patton here and at the Bull. The rest of the time we were with other groups. Anyway. We're in 5 campaigns from Normandy to Germany.
This gentleman was on Hill 314. He was the forward observer that called artillery that helped save this hill.
Yeah.
And he was right on this point. That's his foxhole right there.
Holy.
So you were with the 30th Infantry Division?
That was your foxhole?
My
here?
uncle also.
go get my uncle also.
In the
The
30th?
Yes. Wounded at St. Lo.
We were ranked #1.
Old Hickory.
Mr. Denius, how were your batteries up here about 70 years ago?
Well, you know, we did something nobody else had ever done. We took the, you have to understand our radios weighed 110 pounds. They had a battery pack 55 pounds, radio was 55. You had to connect them with a cable, set them up. But we took the battery pack and put it on out in the open, in the sunshine, and let it stay for an hour. Get about 5, 6, 7 minutes charge.
And now I've heard of Lieutenant Weiss and Lieutenant Bartz.
Lieutenant Bartz was the yeah. So Lieutenant Bartz became incapacitated the first night.
Okay.
What is your name?
My name is Frank Denius.
Frank Denius.
D-E-N-I-U-S.
Thank you. Thank you for your service too.
Notice this right here.
Well, how did you end up in the 30th?
Wait, is that the symbol for First Army or Third Army? I didn't.
Pardon?
Is that the symbol for First Army or Third Army?
#1.
See, he's an Oklahoma fan. Don't pay no attention.
Well, I hope we can continue playing Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He's almost wearing the right shade of orange. I'm from big orange country in Tennessee.
Forget about that old other shade.
If Nebraska wants to go in somewhere, let them go.
So you said Bartz was incapacitated, and so you and Weiss were the only ones able to work the radios?
Yeah.
And were you injured at all during any of this period? I understand they were shooting phosphorus shells at you guys, but they were hitting up against the
Throwing
rocks.
potato mashers right over at that foxhole.
Really? They were that close, huh?
They were right here.
And what about any tigers or
We had
panthers?
two infantrymen with a new 30 caliber automatic machine gun that we just got in the gym that night. And they came right up this hill where we had some hand-to-hand combat.
I take it you won.
He didn't give up. He didn't give up.
And what was the first time you ate or drank anything after August, let's say, 14th?
What time did I?
What's the first thing you ate or drank after you guys were relieved?
You know, went back to my artillery battalion, and the mess sergeant, good old buddy, says, "I know you like hotcakes."
Yeah. How do they taste?
They're wonderful. And the very next day we moved out, and you'll see a sign that says Donphan. That's where we moved to, and then on to Alicon, the Fala Gap, and then on to north of Paris. We let the French Army make its debut into Paris. And then we moved through northern France, and then to Belgium, first in Belgium, first in Holland, first in Germany.
You guys were the first at the German, or the Dutch fort that the Germans took. Oh, it's driving me nuts. I got photographs of you guys there. It's the ones that the Germans used gliders to take over.
Oh.
Fort Eben Amal.
Yeah.
And so were you with First Army through the rest of the war, or with the Ninth?
We were in the Third Army, we were in the First Army, the Third Army, the British Army, the Canadian Army, the 18th Airborne Corps, the 9th Army, and the First Army. Wherever they wanted a division.
You were on the front all the way though, weren't you?
And did you make it through the whole war, sir?
Was wounded on January 25 in Belgium, 45, and I was in the hospital 3 weeks, and came back and finished up. I was also wounded about a month before here, but it's just a flesh wound in the arm. So, no evacuation.
There's a question I ask veterans that have made it through the end of the war, and they never even pause to answer it. And that question is, how many points did you have at the end of the war?
When the point system came out, I had 89 points.
Hey, and 85 is a magic number, right?
Yeah, and I'd only been in the service at that time 3 months on active duty.
Well, then you had some fruit salad on your chest, I would imagine. Well, Taylor, we're not going to interrupt any more of your filming. We do have a bus to catch. Thank you very much for your time and for your service, sir. We really appreciate it.